Yeah, so there's one way that I've been thinking about Alexander technique recently, and I call it personal sovereignty. So, what does this mean? So, the clearest example lies in the habit of rushing around. This is a pervasive habit in our culture. Sense that there's not enough time, and kind of narrowing of attention, the narrowing of your body, and this the tightening and the rushing around, the moving more quickly than maybe you really need to. And the idea here is that when you have personal sovereignty over how you are, how you choose to move around in the world, how you choose to use your time, that means that if you don't want to rush, you don't rush. And and so a lot of times when I'm teaching lessons, I teach the pause, the magic pause, and one thing that does is that it's a time to take back your sense of time, your sense of how much time you're going to take to do something. Because even when you're rushing around, even when there are people waiting on you, even when if there is somebody yelling in your face, do it faster, hurry, hurry, it's still a choice that you're making. And by taking a pause, you get to take back your agency, your sovereignty. And maybe you cross the room, if you're walking across the room, in your own timing, the timing that actually works for your body, rather than in some perceived somebody else's timing. And so this goes pretty deep, actually. Where does this habit of rushing around come from? It's from our culture, and that has a whole history. Ideas around time, ideas around individuality. But we learn these when we're kids. When we're little, we're always taught to hurry up and be on time and finish up. Get your shoes on more quickly, all that kind of thing. And so we sort of inhabit that rushing around. We learn it, and so and in a sense, we're living other people's time. So if we don't address these habits of rushing around, then it's still like we have the parent or teacher in the back of our mind, telling us to rush around, but nobody is anymore. You're an adult, and you get to choose. And as we've seen before, getting tight in your body, rushing around actually doesn't necessarily help you go faster. So maybe we can just spend a few minutes here just remembering that you are in charge of yourself. You make choices. Even if other people are telling you to do something, you're still making a choice of whether or not to follow their directions. And in recognizing the fact that you make different choices throughout the day about how to use your body, what kind of timing you use, the quality of movement that you use. Recognizing that these are choices will empower you. And that empowerment is what we call personal sovereignty. At least one aspect of it. So I'll lead us through a little meditation after that, and you can even practice that pause, exercising a choice around how you respond to any of my suggestions. You might even notice, when I suggest something, like, how do you typically respond? Can you exercise some choice around taking your own time? Maybe you don't even take in my suggestion. It's up to you. So all at once, see if you can remember that all the sensations of your body are already present. And see if you can notice these sensations without inclining your attention towards them. They're already here. The sensations of breathing, movement, pressure, touch, temperature. These appear of their own accord. Notice that you're not creating any of this. And the same is true of the visual field. See if you can take in your whole visual field all at once, instantaneously. You might even notice how your visual field is just kind of floating there. How it doesn't have any edges. How it's constantly changing. And how you don't have to do anything in order to notice it. Again, it's just appearing of its own accord. if you're like a lot of people, there might be a sense that the seat of attention, the you that is witnessing your visual field, is somehow inside your skull, behind your eyes. And if that's so, you might notice what that's made out of, what that feeling of looking from behind your eyes is made out of, because it's an illusion. You know, your brain is behind your eyeballs. There's not something inside, like the back of your skull, that could see through your brain and the back of your eyeballs, you know, through the front of your eyeballs. It's physically impossible. Rather, what's happening is that, you know, your brain takes in all the sensations of light on the retina and reduces it down, and then generates the sensations, the visual field. So it's almost like virtual reality. It's just being generated. The sense of your body, sounds, sight, thoughts, emotions, smells, all of conscious experience is being generated. Even the sensation of being inside your skull, peering out through your eyes. What's that made out of? That in particular. Maybe some muscle tension around your eyes, maybe some sensations or muscle tension in the back of your skull. Is that who you are? Then, you know, what's noticing those sensations? There is a kind of non-finding here which is really important. It can be very freeing. Although sometimes disconcerting, because it's such a different model of what the self is than the typical Western skin-encapsulated ego, in the words of Alan Watts. There's just this appearance. Again, just like virtual reality, all of consciousness, conscious experience, sensorial reality just appears. Yeah, and noticing that is actually a really great way into personal sovereignty. You see through illusions. The illusion of the separate self, the illusion of time, just left with the timeless now. It's a mystery. choosing your own timing, you can roll on over and come up into sitting, and yeah, and that'll be that.